first of all, before we start on that, just your thoughts on Kobe Bryant's passing, just kind of what he meant.
Well, I feel for everybody on that plane. Obviously, there's parents and children, and that everybody that's got to deal with that, it's unimaginable. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that in this world, we have no security, no eternal security without God. And we never know, right? I mean, you just never know what's going to happen the moment you walk out your door, the moment you leave. And praying over our children and helping our children learn to pray and just doing everything we can possibly do to stay centered in God is so incredibly important. And it is every day, and then every once in a while it really magnifies itself, I should say, not over magnifies. But as far as Kobe Bryant, I didn't know him, but I mean, unreal respect. I've had some regrets in basketball. One is I never got to see him practice or do his own workout, right? That was something that I always wanted. I have friends that are friends of his. You know, obviously Dwayne Wade and he are extremely close. And he was a real moving part of Dwayne's life because Dwayne looked up to him so much as a high schooler and as a college basketball player. And then obviously with what he did in the NBA. But I mean, there's so many different things. But at the end of the day, 9 people lost their lives, and I can't imagine what their families are going through. And again, it just ultimately comes back to how do we stay completely secure with our relationship with God, to me.
When you talk about looking up to him, obviously your players grew up at a time when he was at his star peak. I mean, is that something that you'll talk about with them about?
Well, we were all together yesterday when it happened. So, in fact, I found out from them, and because we did something a little bit different in practice. We did 2 groups, and all of a sudden the second group came up, and it was that. And then I went right into, we had one of our players had to deal with their own friendship tragedy. So I went straight into that, but obviously it affected all of us, and that is something I'm certain we'll talk about.
Coach, on to the trivial matter of the next game.
Sure.
You guys, I know you want to win them all. What's got to happen to get back on track?
Well, we got to rebound the ball. We got to rebound the ball. We got to deal with their physicality. They're a very, very physical, aggressive basketball team, and they did that to us last year. We've got to defend their guards. We've definitely got to be able to continue to run our offense because of that physicality, because of the way they help and recover. We've got to be able to cut and play. I mean, there's no way around it. And defensively, we've got to take real responsibility for our man. You know, whether we're switching into something, whether we're guarding the post straight up, whether we're guarding the post in a switch, whatever it is, we've got to do a better job of taking care of our job defensively. So it's not only the help that we've got to have, it's taking care and doing the job that we've got to do.
What's the mental state of the team right now?
Oh, I think very good. Yeah, I think very good. We did something different. The energy was high yesterday. I mean, it's a long season, and I think when we come in and our whole thing is about improvement, how do we get better? What do we got to do next? You know, stay focused on that, and I think that's really important. I mean, really, in all honesty, if your mental state's not good, it's gonna be hard to play you, right? I mean, toughness is what it's got to be, and so a big part of toughness, obviously, is the mental toughness. So you have to be able to have that, develop that, nurture that, and that becomes a huge part of it. So. I think somebody in the wrong frame of mind would really stand out, right? And that's not what we have, and that's certainly not how we can win. So that I'm not even, I'm looking at completely in the way of, you know, who's going to help us get better and better, and who's going to improve, and who's going to be committed to that improvement.
What was different about practice yesterday? What made you want to run it a little differently yesterday?
Just because my choice, right? Change the energy up a little bit. I wanted to focus on some different things.
How uncharacteristic was it to miss as many layups as you guys did, though?
Not good. Yeah, that was not good. We're not finishing real well. And that's something that we wanted to work on yesterday. We're not finishing through contact. We're not going strong enough through contact. We're dropping our eyes, our head when we go through. That's a physical league, right? It's a very, very physical league. It's an extremely aggressive league, an extremely well-coached league, one that just continues to get better and better, and we've got to be able to deal with it.
You spoke Saturday about ball movement, also about shot selection, not following the game plan that you wanted. How do you get that message through? We've
got to continue. I think especially in the first half, got to control more of the offense. You know, we just can't deviate, right? We've got too many guys right now that they predetermine a play, right, rather than let the play happen. So we've got to get that movement. We've got to move without the ball. We've got to be better in those areas. That's going to be really important for us.
What are some of the measures that need to be taken to improve defensively?
Well, the biggest thing I said is more responsibility to guard, right? And whether I got to shrink the bench, you know, whatever we have to do. I don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to have a group of guys that are committed to getting better all the time, and how important that is to just absolutely lock in and defend, rebound, hit, be physical, switch, talk, use your hands. Those are the things. They're very, very fundamental. And they're things that we do every day, and they're things that just have to carry over into the game. And there's been times we've been very good at that, and there's times we're very lax. And when we talk about winning the first dribble, you've got to stay in front of the ball when that ball starts to drive. And that's a huge part of it. The communication issues are one thing, but the staying down in a stance, continuing to guard that dribble the first time is important. That's even more so. And then really, really being aggressive when the shot goes up. And we've got to get loose balls. Right, at the end of the day, we've got to get some loose balls. We've got to have some guys that will put their body on the ground, be quick, react quicker, go after and get the ball. And that's part of it. As I say to them all the time, you want to make this your career, right? And it doesn't stay your career very long if you're not aggressive, if you're not tough, if you're not physical, if you don't have a mindset for winning, right? That's what it is. It's all different once you get to college now. You have to be able to do those things consistently, and that's what we're certainly trying to focus on.
Severe looked like he had some flashes where he was his dynamic self but didn't sustain. Is he almost 100%?
I hope so. He's got to push the ball better. We've got to get that ball out and go. We've got to get him flying up the court and doing a better job there. There's no doubt about that. And when he does, he's really good, and that's what we've got to have. Push it, throw it ahead, get it back, attack, get his confidence back, making layups. Continue. If it's not there, keep the ball alive. Don't try to force a shot. Keep it alive. Keep it moving. And hopefully his confidence will come back from that.
How much of his, absence or limitations? I would think that's got to kind of affect what's happening in the half court as much as he does.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, there's no question about that. So we've got to have a movement offense. We've got to continue to move. We've got to play at a fast, high level.
Are you seeing the same intensity when they take the court on the road? They have the home crowd, and being home is one thing, but do you see that same intensity when they go?
I don't know if it's intensity as much as it's urgency. And so I think we've got to continue to look for what that urgency is and how do we create it. Because when you have a young group, and when you have a group of guys that haven't had a tremendous amount of success as older guys, right, they don't walk into the road with great confidence. They don't walk into the road and say, oh man, been here, done that, right? There's not a lot of that. And so you have to be able to try to figure out ways that you can create that. And I think that's one thing as a staff, we're looking at it all the time. It's a daily puzzle. It really is. Coaching's a daily puzzle as it is, but it's a really, really a daily puzzle with a lot of times you don't start from where you left off the next day when it comes to mindsets of young guys, especially when you go on the road. What we've got to establish on the road is we're not going to go on the road and think we're just going to shoot jump shots to get started. We did too much of that at Kentucky. We've got to go and we've got to establish we're going to cut, we're going to move, we're going to be aggressive.
Jordan said after the game the other night that he likes to make a habit with checking in with Anthony and seeing how he's doing mentally with handling the spotlight and things like that. Do you do that as a coach, and how have you seen him sort of?
Yeah, I check in with everybody. Right, I talk to everybody at different times. Very organically. Absolutely.
How do you like Jordan coming off the bench? Is that a good role for him?
I like Jordan playing. So that becomes no, seriously. I answer that question. I'm not sure what that means just yet. So I like him playing. I thought he did a good job the other night. What I want is a consistent Jordan. Right, that's what we need, and when he's consistent like he was the other night, he hasn't been as consistent yet, but we're working towards that, and his mind and heart are in the right place for that to happen, so I think that's really important for us. So that could go either way. He's a very valuable guy right now, and especially when he's defending, and especially when he's rebounding the ball.
Maybe two more questions. Are their heads down, or do you still feel like
it's early in the season?
At the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, absolutely. It's January 27th. I'm not coaching heads down. Right? Like heads down, they go on the side, right? Or, we give them another role that they can have in practice. That's not what this is about. I don't want to be distracted, right? My job is to make sure that we're getting ready every day. So you get enough guys that understand it's about competition, it's about fight. It's not about, let's come in and hope that they feel better and hope they're not too upset. No, we got to go. We got to get better, right? That's what this is all about. So you try to help them grow and nurture them, but at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. All right, thank you.
Thank you.